The old lighthouse stood tall and proud on the rugged coastline, its beam slicing through the darkness like a silver scimitar. The wind howled around its base, whipping up the waves into a frenzy as the tide crept in, driven by the moon's insistent pull. The air was alive with the whispers of secrets, ancient and forgotten, carried on the salty breeze that rustled the sea grasses growing at the lighthouse's foot. As night fell, a lone figure emerged from the shadows, drawn to the beacon like a moth to flame. The visitor, a young girl named Lily, felt an inexplicable pull towards the lighthouse, as if some unseen force was beckoning her closer. Her heart pounded in time with the waves as she approached the towering structure, its granite walls slick with dew and the promise of secrets yet untold. The sound of the wind and the waves was like a constant hum, a white noise that filled Lily's ears as she reached out to touch the lighthouse's weathered door. It swung open with an eerie creak, inviting her into the darkness within. A chill ran down her spine as she stepped across the threshold, the air inside thick with the scent of old books and stale air. As her eyes adjusted to the dim light, Lily found herself in a narrow stairwell that spiraled upwards like a twisted staircase to heaven. The walls were lined with dusty lanterns, their glassy surfaces reflecting the faint glow from above, casting an otherworldly sheen on the stone beneath her feet. Each step seemed to whisper secrets of its own, weaving a tapestry of ancient knowledge and forgotten lore. Lily placed a tentative foot on the first stone step, the sound of her movement swallowed by the oppressive silence within. With each winding ascent, the world outside the howling wind, the crashing waves seemed to fade into a distant memory, replaced by the heavy stillness of the tower. She ran her hand along the cold, damp wall for guidance, the rough texture of the granite a grounding counterpoint to the ethereal light filtering from above. The spiral staircase seemed to go on forever, each turn revealing more of the same, the ancient stone, the silent, dust-shrouded lanterns. It was as if she was climbing through time itself, the layers of history pressing in on her from all sides. A faint, rhythmic clicking sound began to emanate from above, growing clearer with every step, a mechanical heartbeat at the core of the silent giant. Finally, the stairs ended, opening into a circular room. This was the heart of the lighthouse, the lamp room. The source of the clicking was a magnificent, intricate clockwork mechanism of brass and copper, its gears turning with a slow, deliberate precision. It surrounded a giant, pristine lens made of countless individual prisms, which focused the single, powerful flame at its center into the sweeping beam she had seen from the shore. But it was not the mechanism that stole Lily a Eurostrade's breath. Scattered around the room were dozens of small, leather-bound journals, piled on a simple wooden desk and spilling onto the floor. They were covered in a fine layer of dust, their pages yellowed with age. An open inkwell sat beside them, the ink long since dried to a black crust. It was a room that felt less abandoned and more Euros paused, as if the keeper had just stepped out for a moment, 100 years ago. With trembling hands, Lily picked up the topmost journal. The leather was cool and smooth under her fingers. She opened it to a random page and found it filled with a tight, elegant script. It wasn't a log of weather and ship passages, but a collection of thoughts, of poems, of observations about the sea and the sky. The lighthouse keeper, she realized, had been a chronicler of solitude, a poet of the deep. As she gently turned more pages, she found sketches of birds, of waves, of the stars wheeling overhead. One sketch, in particular, caught her eye. It was a drawing of the lighthouse itself, but from this very room. In the sketch, the great lens was aglow, and standing before it was the faint, ethereal outline of a figure, as if the light itself had a ghost. The caption beneath, in the same elegant hand, read simply, "The guardian of the beacon is never truly alone." A sound, soft and distinct from the clicking of the gears, made her look up. It was a whisper, like the rustle of silk, seeming to come from the very air around the great lens. For a moment, the light from the flame flickered, and in that instant, Lily could have sworn she saw a reflection in the cut glass surface of the prism, not of herself, but of a man in an old-fashioned coat, his face kind and weary, watching her with a gentle curiosity. Then, as quickly as it appeared, the flicker stopped, and the reflection was gone, leaving only her own wide-eyed stare looking back at her. But the feeling of being watched didn't fade. Instead, it transformed into a profound sense of peace. She was not an intruder here, she realized. The unseen force that had pulled her to the lighthouse had been an invitation. Placing the journal gently back on the pile, Lily understood that the lighthouse had secrets, yes, but they were not meant to be hidden. They were meant to be found and felt by those who were willing to listen to the whispers on the wind.